This is Sheriff Spotlight with the Rockingham County Sheriff's Office, highlighting the office and deputies dedicated to providing law enforcement services and maintaining the trust and support of Rockingham County citizens, all while keeping neighborhoods and communities safe.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Sheriff's Spotlight right here at the Rockingham County Sheriff's Office. Today is February of 2025, and I'm your host for today's show, Lieutenant Kevin Souther, Public Information Officer for the Rockingham County Sheriff's Office. In the studio with me today, of course, is Sheriff Sam Page. Sheriff,
good morning. Where's all that snow?
Right, I mean,
is it coming back?
It was 70 degrees last week and 30 degrees yesterday. So
is it coming back next week?
I don't know. We'll have to stay tuned for all of that.
So let me just say, watch your local news here in the morning and check it out. And,
that's right.
Because I may be talking on there, telling you about the snow and also projections and stuff like that.
Absolutely, and regardless of whether or not it's actual freezing rain or snow or any kind of accumulation or anything like that, just keep in mind that some of this wet weather can produce some ice in the mornings.
Freezing.
Because of the temperatures being so low.
Yes.
So in your morning commutes, give yourself a little extra time if you have to be on the roadway there, so that you're not rushed or in a hurry.
And I will say this last event we had, we were able to do a couple of spots on some of the local Piedmont news, and we were able to, I think we were able to give people some good advisement, and people were watching the news, and a lot of people stayed off the road until daybreak.
Absolutely, yes.
And
we were very fortunate.
We were very fortunate. No one seriously injured.
Right.
In the motor vehicle accidents that were occurred.
Right. So February's been a big month so far, even though it's only the 15th. So
yeah.
But you have recently come back from the National Sheriff's Conference in Washington, D.C. I heard a lot went on there. Why don't you tell the citizens and our viewers about that?
Well, I had the opportunity to attend the winter conference. I generally attend the winter National Sheriff's Conference in Washington, D.C.
Mm-hmm.
Sheriffs from all over, there are 3,081 sheriffs, but there are sheriffs from all over the United States that come together to talk about concerns. It's a good time to network. We have seminars on different topics, and then we also have vendors that come in on the latest technologies and software and all types of equipment that is on the market and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Can't have everything, but there's some good knowledge that comes out of those talking with the vendors, and then of course we had an opportunity to visit with one of our senators, or actually both of our senators, and also our House member from Rockingham County area in this district, which is Virginia Fox. So I got to meet with Ted Budd, and I got to meet with Virginia Fox, and some of our team got to meet with Tom Tillis also.
Right. Now, new presidential administration, a lot of changes in the way business has been done. Some of that was addressed there at the conference.
That's
yes,
right.
Some of the things that they're doing now.
Since January 20th, with the new administration, President Trump coming in, there's been a lot of programs that have been restarted that were stopped under the last administration. But Tom Homan, who is the border czar, came in and spoke. Mm-hmm. I did meet with the National Sheriff's Border Security and Immigration Committee, and that covers everything from interior enforcement to national security and public safety and the importance of border security, what that means. My biggest concern, sit on the committee, is targeting the cartels, putting them out of business in Mexico, cutting the flow of drugs, cutting the flow of human trafficking into America, primarily through our southern border.
And that's a large focus of what's going on right now.
It is. And Tom Homan, who is the border czar again, as I said, he spoke, and pretty much I wanted to hear kind of what was the rollout plan as far as local, state, and federal partnerships. What expectations, and what I've seen since then is that there will be more local, state, and federal cooperation. Some of the federal agencies, such as the DEA, the ATF, and other agencies, are being authorized to enforce Title VIII, which is immigration law. Mm-hmm. So they're building out a force multiplier.
Right.
And what I wanted to see is what expectations they had of local law enforcement, because a lot of local law enforcement officers across the Piedmont and across the nation agencies participate in task forces, federal task forces. So I was curious whether they're going to authorize some of the local law enforcement officers to be deputized under federal law for Title VIII authorization also to assist, because it's a big job. My understanding, there's about 600,000 criminal offenders that are illegally in the country, criminal offenders that are supposed to be identified. The effort is a targeted, focused approach, looking for those worst of the worst and getting those persons in custody and removing them from our country. And that, a lot of people are spreading information, maybe a little bit of misinformation, but hearing it from Mr. Holman, pretty much it's not going in and doing a sweep. It's an effort to go in and target focus on those persons that they're looking for. And like I said, 600,000 criminal offenders, that's a lot of people to go after. You've got about 5,000 ERO agents, which are the ICE enforcement and removal officers, but only got about 5,000 of those officers. And a lot of military members have been sent to the border, regular military. Mexico is now talking about putting 10,000 of their military members along the southern border to help control that border, to help protect their country, our country, and also to deal with the cartels. And the biggest thing is the cartel also have been declared a terrorist organization, narco-terrorist organization, that allows for more federal resources to be used to put those persons and disrupt those businesses.
A recent hot button topic that you and I have both been asked a lot about in recent weeks is the fact that, are we going to see ICE agents coming into our communities and going to schools and going to churches and this, that, and the other? And while, the administration's made it clear that nothing's off limits, I think the focus of what you're seeing on television here recently is more in the sanctuary cities. And I know that here in North Carolina with HB 10 that was recently passed at the end of last year, and I'll let you remind the viewers what all that is, but because they will not cooperate with ICE and allow the removal from the jail while they're in jail, which is a safer environment to do that anyway, they have to go out into the communities after
and look for
those individuals because they've been released back out in the community. But here in North Carolina, it's a little bit different. Why don't you first of all, tell us about HB 10. I know you had a big part in it.
Short version, House Bill 10, we worked on that law for about 5 years, and it was passed in the late fall and signed in veto, override on that bill with our legislature dealing with the governor. And it basically has a process that when federal detainers are issued to hold someone in a jail that's criminally charged and illegal, that it sends the administrative warrant and the detainer to the law enforcement agency that's detaining that person, and then a person is brought before a magistrate without unnecessary delay to be served with that process. And then when the local process is finished here, then ICE is contacted and they have 48 hours to pick the person up and take them into custody. Much safer process, much more streamlined process to remove criminal offenders from your community that are here illegally in the country. That's the short version. But as far as where ICE, the immigration agents can go, under the past administration, they had restrictions that were placed on them where they could go. Those restrictions have been pulled off. But remember what I said, it's a targeted approach to criminal offenders. They're looking for specific persons, the worst of the worst, of those 600,000 criminal offenders that are illegally in our country out there in the communities.
Right.
But you mentioned something very important, sanctuary cities. In 2016, Governor McCrory signed a bill that was an anti-sanctuary city bill. It covered cooperation with ICE and sharing information, where no municipality could tell an agency not to be able to cooperate with ICE and provide information. It also talked about E-Verify. So many people that are working for you, they would require them to do an E-Verify check to make sure they could lawfully work in the workplace and stuff like that. Because you've seen a lot of times you see places where persons that are illegal have gone to like the major plants and stuff like this, and being employed and stuff like this when they lawfully couldn't work there, and that is a violation of law. So there were some provisions in here. Also, the matricular consulate ID card, which is issued from the country of Mexico, it's not generally accepted as a form of identification. Okay, because people can make fraudulent identification. With some of the countries coming in, and what I understand from my briefings down at the border last year, down in McAllen, Texas, and then again up here in the National, is you have people coming in from well over 160 countries. And some countries where we have people that have been identified as terrorists that have come into our country. And then I think currently we've heard some things where there's some countries that were refusing to take back people that they're trying to transport back to their home country and stuff like this. But they've got a process. And of course the president also talked about sanctions. Sanctions is a mechanism, a tool to encourage other countries to work with us. And I won't go into that real heavy, but the president has talked about sanctions, and from my understanding, Mexico is working. The new president of Mexico is working with the president on adding additional Mexican military to their border areas and stuff.
Their northern border.
So, but sanctuary cities, back to that, sanctuary cities, that's a lot of time encourages as a drawing point.
Right.
It's a magnet for persons that are illegal. But I also listened to the president talk about, if you aid, abet someone that's illegal and try to hide that person, that you could be violation of federal criminal law. And I heard about accountability, and there's a new Attorney General Attorney General Bondi, used to be the AG in Florida, talked about potential prosecutions for persons that violate federal law dealing with those sanctuary conversations.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
But I can tell you this is now in North Carolina, all sheriffs have to cooperate as dealing with the jail situation with detainers. They have to go through a process and cooperate with, it's ultimately cooperating with ICE.
Right, and the ICE agents, the ERO agents, they have a job to do. They can't just go away, just because you say, well, I'm not going to let you come get them out of the jail. They just don't say, well, you know what, you got me, I'm not going to do it now.
Under the old provision, there were some counties that did not honor detainers, and when a person posted bond that was here illegally and criminally charged, and they were released from jail, a lot of times they either go to other places, they could change their names, they can start victimizing people, U.S. citizens or people in the immigrant population.
Which is oftentimes
the case. And so we just want to do what's best for public safety to protect all of our citizens and our immigrant population.
Absolutely.
Because we do know that a lot of times they get victimized stuff. So I will say this, if you are here living in the United States and you are an immigrant, or you're a U.S. citizen, if you need assistance, 911 is the number you call. If you call, we'll come and provide you the same level of protection and assistance. That's our responsibility in law enforcement, and we'll provide that law enforcement protection for our citizens and our persons in the immigrant population. Because a lot of times people give misinformation. I just want to be straight with that to let everybody know.
Right, because we don't enforce federal law.
We have no authority to enforce outside the jail.
We're just there to help.
That's right.
Out in the community.
Anybody calls, you call, we come.
Now, you just spoke of the jail. Another big development here in the month of February is the MAT program, the Medical Assisted Treatment Program for our inmates. It's finally underway. We've got it going.
It's been a process since about 2022. We started with mental health support. We work with Daymark Recovery. We have mental health providers. People come in, counselors, and work with our inmate population from a mental health perspective. We've been able to bring in a scan system to reduce the chances of drugs being brought in illegally into the jail, so we can identify if somebody's hiding something internal or external to be able to identify drugs in jail. We've been able to add additional medical staff this past fiscal year, and we're running medical staff, 3 nurses, 24/7. We have three nurses throughout the day, a night shift nurse, a overlap nurse, and a day shift nurse.
Right.
And they'll be working in conjunction with each other on medical intake for our inmates. In case someone comes in with a condition that we need to know about, because we have to look after our inmates while they're in our facility and provide the medical care if necessary, when necessary. And then also we have the medical assisted treatment, where they'll determine who qualifies for the medical assisted treatment. If someone is getting some type of treatment for opioid use disorder and comes into our jail under ADA rules, we have to continue that. That's the federal law. And then if someone comes in and they have an addiction and they qualify, then we can start the medical assisted treatment process and stabilize this person in jail. It's about looking after our inmate population and also working to break the cycle of addiction. Okay, because a lot of people think, well, you can arrest people that are doing drugs and all this kind of. Yeah, you can. The users, the person with addiction, you can, but you can't arrest your way out of addiction.
No,
you've got to treat the person with addiction, and it's a community effort, and it's a long-term issue. The opioid crisis didn't start last week; it started years ago, and then it evolved into the fentanyl issues, and then we started seeing people dying and stuff like this in our communities and stuff like this. So, the medical assisted treatment is a program to stabilize persons in jails with opioid use disorders.
And we're not going to win every time.
No.
But those that we can help.
Well, we got
those that we can save.
One at a time.
One is those that do decide to change their lives.
That's right.
And finally take that help and use it and stay on the program and stuff. That's what makes it worth it.
And then when they come out of the facilities, a lot of jails across North Carolina, across America are doing these programs. But when they do come out of jail, and we try to bridge them with Daymart Recovery, a recovery service to try to make sure that they transition and have some continuity of care.
Right.
And then also we have our, out in the field, we have our post-overdose response teams. The health department provides medical staff to go out and do like case management and check on people that have had overdoses. They follow up with them to try to see if they're interested in trying to get some services to help them with their addiction.
Right.
Now, look at this. You've got the Mexican drug cartel in Mexico. They're the ones who are doing human trafficking and drug trafficking, and you've got the addiction issue and stuff. So it's a business model, supply and demand.
Right.
We've got to reduce the demand with the person with addictions, and we also got to go after the persons that with the supply. But if you do that, you can start knocking that down.
You've got to attack it on both fronts.
It's an old saying like this is, it's the water spigot. The spigot is in Mexico, the hose is coming into the United States, and we're chasing those droplets, okay?
Yeah, droplets are coming out of the end of the hose.
We've got to go to the source and cut it off at the spigot. That's
Absolutely.
the most effective way to deal with the situation. But under the current administration, I'm going to go back to them, with the current administration, with their efforts with our military and our federal law enforcement and internationally working with, hopefully we can get some agreements and working with Mexico to combat and dismantle these organizations, these narco-terrorist organizations in Mexico. That's the ultimate goal. In the United States, we want to work with and try to treat persons with addictions and reduce that demand. That's how you start beating this war on drugs here that we're seeing. But it's taken, last year or so, 107,000 lives across America. 11 people a day lost their lives in North Carolina. Last year, nearly 4,000 people died due to overdoses, and a lot of those were due to fentanyl poisoning. You and I have gone into the schools over the past several months, a year or two, and talked to kids about the dangers of fentanyl and experimentation. You can't do it anymore.
There is no more experimentation, no.
It comes in liquid, powder, or pill form, and so if they want to put something on another substance and you take that substance, it only takes 2 milligrams to take your life. So we got serious with the kids. We've attended churches, and we will continue doing that. And of course, Dwayne Anders, who I'm going to introduce in a little bit, who's going to be our new community contact officer out there, Sergeant Anders, he will help us also to carry on what we started and what you started, helping in our community.
And what I saw and heard from so many parents and grandparents is they didn't understand that because it comes in liquid, powder, or pill form, everybody just thought that fentanyl comes in the pill form or is made into the counterfeit pills. But they're putting it in vapes. It's liquid. I mean, they can put it into vapes. They can put it into drinks.
Liquid, powder.
They're soaking marijuana in it.
Powder, pill.
Right.
You can soak paper. You can do all kinds of things.
Exactly.
And so we have to educate ourselves on these different methods of introducing these drugs into our communities. We've got to use what resources we have with our investigators to go after the persons that are selling drugs that are taking lives in our communities. And then we also have to do the big picture, which is with the terrorists and the cartel down there. We have to make sure we go after them. So it's a combined effort of local, state, and federal working together, but not one entity. Public health has got to be involved. Our schools and public education, public safety has got to be involved. It's so many entities.
It takes a village, as they say,
to solve this problem.
Right.
And we're gonna do our best. And but I appreciate you getting me on that a little bit. But the medical assisted treatment, hopefully, in the next year, we'll see some improvement on our inmates and their conditions and their health conditions.
And once they are released from our facility too, we provide them with resources to continue that care.
That's right, continuation.
In the outside world,
That's right.
we're going to hook them up with various treatment places and counseling and stuff for outside.
Yeah. One thing,
of the
if you
detention
have, exactly, but one thing, if you have someone that has a opioid use disorder and it's potential for an overdose, there's a standing order in the state of North Carolina that you can go to most pharmacies here and you can buy Narcan to help out if someone has a reaction to an opioid and they're in your home, that Narcan can reverse the effects until you can get the paramedics there. If you have someone who's having an overdose situation like this, the main number to call is 911. Our goal is to save lives. I hear people complain a lot of times, well, why do you keep Narcaning? Because you're going out here and doing this person over and over and over again. I said, let me tell you something. If that was your child, you would want me to save that person's life. And that's what our job is, to protect and serve and save lives in our community. And we're going to do that until we can eradicate this problem here that's affecting our citizens and across our nation.
Absolutely.
Okay, what else?
Well, we've got some big changes coming our way. This is actually going to be my last podcast with the Rockingham County Sheriff's Office here. I'm going to be retiring at the end of the month, as you well know. So this will be my last Sheriff Spotlight here.
How many years, Kevin?
30 years with
30
the
years.
Rockingham County Sheriff's Office. Yes, I've been blessed through the years. Our previous sheriff, Sheriff Vernon, hired me, young kid. I came in, talked to him, and he hired me. He took a chance on me. You have been very good to me over the years. When you were elected, you kept me on, and you've given me a lot of opportunities over the years. I've had an opportunity to do a lot of different things here, and I'm very appreciative of that.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, even though Kevin is retiring, I've been saying this all week, even though Kevin is retiring, he will still stay on as a reserve, either inactive or active, and he will always be a part of our Sheriff's Office family here. We appreciate your contribution to public safety, your contribution to community events and education for the public, your efforts, in our schools, whether it be I know you've worked as a domestic violence victim. Unit investigator,
specialized unit.
Specialized unit.
It's been about 10 years
crime
in the
victims unit.
detectives altogether.
You've worked in civil division. You worked as my PO for what? 15 years.
Yeah, 15 years.
And you brought a lot of technology and ideas here. You introduced us to Roy, Rockingham Update. So we started our podcast a few years ago.
Yeah.
You wrote a lot of grants. This man has wrote a tremendous amount of grants that have benefited. The recent grant you wrote for for Matt was about over $800,000, and then also you helped work with Tammy Howell writing the grant for the Veterans Treatment Court, which will be starting soon.
Yeah.
And that's just to name a few. And you do Governor's Crime Commission grants. You do all these grants, but you've helped us to be able to get monies that if we didn't write it, we wouldn't have had otherwise. So training, equipment, technology, you've helped us stay ahead of the curve there. And I just want to say thank you. I want to extend my hand and say
yes, and I thank you for all the opportunities you've given me. Like I said, you've allowed me to go to a lot of trainings, try some new areas of the agency at various times in my career.
School resource officer.
School resource officer. Like I said, I've had a lot of opportunities here. I've enjoyed my time here.
Would it be safe to say that you've worked just about in every position in the agency?
Just about every position in the agency. Yeah. At one point during my career, yes. Or at least been trained on that position and gotten certified in it. So yes.
Well, let me just say this to the citizens of Rockingham County. I want to thank Kevin personally for his dedication and service to our citizens. Your public safety, information being pushed out to you, what you contributed to, and your friendship and your relationship with all the deputies within the Sheriff's Office. We have roughly 150 employees, and you've reached out to every one of them. You've helped me get my messaging out internally and externally, and so I just wish you and your family the very best. Again, still going to keep them on as a reserve, not going to let them go too far. But Kevin, I do wish
Well,
you.
it's been my honor.
Well, I
It's
hope
been
the
my
next time I see you, I'll see you out there.
Yes, I'm definitely going to take a
He's
little
a-
downtime to do a little fishing.
he is a
and
fisherman.
Yes, get that out of my system here, and I've got some projects that I've been putting off for a little while for after retirement, so I'm going to do a little traveling and such. Those are my plans. When I retire, and that'll be effective February 28th will be my last day. The new public information officer will be.
We're going to introduce him.
Captain Jonathan Cheek is the commander of the detective division.
Yeah.
He'll be taking over the media aspect
that's
of my
right.
job. And we're
Community-
going to introduce
Dwayne Anders.
Sergeant Dwayne Anders will be taking
outreach.
over the crime prevention, community outreach, community education part of what I do. He's the one that you'll start seeing at these events, public
Okay.
events, and in the schools, and he'll be overseeing community watches, and he'll be the new host of the podcast starting in March. So what I'd like to do right now is we're going to take a quick break. We're going to do a recruitment advertisement here. We're going to take a quick break. I'm going to switch positions with Sergeant Anders here and let you guys get to meet him. He can talk about a little bit about himself, introduce himself, and you can get to know him a little bit better.
And if any of the media sources that are also watching this podcast, something like this, if you'd like to talk to Kevin after this, he is available. He'll be available till February 28th.
Right. I'm not going anywhere.
All right,
I'll be around.
Kevin, thank you, buddy.
All right. Thank you.
Yes, see,
Thank
buddy.
you. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Hello, I'm Sheriff Sam Page, the Sheriff of the Rockingham County Sheriff's Office. I got some good news here. We got some job openings here. We are hiring, and I just want to go through a few things. We are looking to hire sworn deputies. If a person is not sworn, we also sponsor persons to go through the Rockingham Community College Basic Law Enforcement Training Program, which will be starting back soon. So if you have any interest in becoming a deputy, or you have any interest, or you're already a sworn officer, you can apply at the Rockingham County Sheriff's Office. Our number is 336-634-3232. Also, we have openings for detention officers. Our detention officers, we employ, our number is about 40. And with those detention officers, it's a very challenging job. But it's a very good job, and I will tell you this, just recently, and I really want to thank our county commissioners, we recently got a pay hike for our sworn officers and for our detention officers, and I think we've got a good benefit package here. We also, I want to let you know, we also have positions for school resource officers, detectives, now these are for persons that are already sworn, detectives to do general criminal investigations, which basically, you know, our criminal investigators investigate everything from bicycle theft to homicides. So you're cross-trained all the way. We also have some openings in bailiffs, and also we have some openings in our civil division for our civil process deputies and stuff like that. So if you are interested for a challenging career, a career with some good benefits, we think it's some good pay, and plus working local, you can contact me at the Rockingham County Sheriff's Office. I'm Sheriff Sam Page. Or you can contact you can also contact Sergeant Dwayne Anders. I'm going to introduce him in just a minute. He'll be our community outreach officer, and he can route you to our recruiters. But like I said, we'd like to have you on board. If you know somebody in the community is looking to get into law enforcement, let them know to contact the Rockingham County Sheriff's Office at 336-634-3232. We'd love to talk to you about a career in law enforcement, and we'd like you to be part of our team. Well, I'm Sheriff Sam Page. We're back with the Sheriff Spotlight, and I would like to welcome everybody in Rockingham County and across. I think we've got 7 different platforms that we go out to. We want to thank Rockingham Update for helping us get our message out to all of our citizens and persons that may not live in our county, but we appreciate you watching our podcast anyway. Today, we announced that Kevin Southard, Lieutenant Kevin Southard, will be retiring from the Rockingham County Sheriff's Office on February 28th. That's my birthday. And Kevin, I don't know did you pick that day on purpose? Okay. But we do want to say thank you to Kevin for all his dedicated service to the citizens of Rockingham County. He's done a great job. I'm very proud of him, and like I say, I have nothing but high hopes for him in the future. I know he's a fisherman, so I know we're going to lose him after February 28th. He's probably going to be out there on the lake. But he's a good man. We appreciate him. And he's going to still stay on as one of our reserves. So, again, Kevin, thank you for your service. You've done us a great job. Today, I'd also like to introduce Sergeant Dwayne Andrews. Sergeant Dwayne Andrews has been with the Sheriff's Office. He worked for us several years ago, came back to us a few years ago from the mountains, and he is now working with us in our Civil Division. He'll be going in as a sergeant. He'll be not only helping with the Civil Division, but he'll also be working in our community outreach and our crime prevention efforts, and helping us message what's going on and what we're trying to do. But I'd like to introduce you, and I'd like you to talk a little bit about yourself. I hear myself all the time, so I'd like to let you tell the people about kind of what you've been involved in, a little bit of your experience and what you bring to the Rockingham County Sheriff's Office and in your new position.
Okay. So I began a career with Rockingham County Sheriff's Office in 1995. Like Lieutenant Souther, I came in under Sheriff Vernon. Matter of fact, there's only a few of us left from that era that was here when you got elected, I believe in 1998. So I stayed with you until August of 99 and took a transition at that time and moved to the mountain area of Cherokee County, North Carolina.
Way up.
Murphy, North Carolina.
Wow.
Far as you can go in North Carolina.
Yeah.
Spent about 13 years there working for the Sheriff's Office. Good time there. That was a great place to be for sure. Left home here sadly, but it was nice for a little change and to gain some experience, and worked in a great place there in Cherokee County. That's a beautiful area. It really is.
Who was the sheriff up there when you went up there?
Alan Kilpatrick.
I remember Alan.
Yeah. Alan and going way back, I guess I owe you a big thank you, because while I'm unpacking boxes, he knocks on my door and says, "Sam Page, give me your address," and said you was looking for a job. So I guess you two had run into each other.
Yeah, through the association.
Even after leaving here, you set me up for another good stint there in law enforcement.
But we didn't let him go too far, and we were able to get him back after a few years and stuff.
Right. That's right.
Well, now, what have you done here locally with the Sheriff's Office? What kind of work have you been doing?
So I continued a patrol career shortly after leaving here. Was when I left here in '99, we had began the community-oriented police unit.
Okay, COPS unit.
Crime prevention was tied in with that. That was a big deal at that time across the country. That was something that you continued. We had just gotten that program started, and it really vamped up and grew after you became sheriff. So when I left here, I had a position in that COPS unit, which was really a good time for me in law enforcement to gain a footing and some more experience in a lot of different areas. And plus, I like people. I love working with people. I love the public. I love
you got to.
Yeah, for sure. So that gave me the opportunity to do that, knocking on doors, going into businesses, developing that relationship, and being liaison between the Sheriff's Office and the community. So we really enjoyed it, had a good time. Continued some of that in Cherokee County, but came back here, came back on part-time to start with, just fulfilling some.
Because you do something else when you're not a deputy.
I do. I'm also a minister, and I pastor a church.
So you stay busy.
I stay very busy.
Yeah.
But one complements the other. It goes hand in hand. It works for me, so it's good for me. It gives me an opportunity to not only interact with people on the law enforcement side, but another side that may see that they need some help in some areas that maybe we can assist on the other side.
Well, we have a lot of people that need assistance here in
for
our
sure.
community. Yeah.
So it's been good for me. It works for me.
Well, now, so when do you start your new job?
I'm not quite sure.
We're
working on that right now.
We know Kevin will be retiring on February 20th, but not shortly after that. You'll be transitioning in.
Yeah.
Well, I just want you to look at Dwayne. Dwayne will be our new guy. He'll be coming in and he'll be doing a lot of the community work in our working with our crime prevention and community programs, community events.
Sure.
We'll stay busy and stuff like this, but he's going to do a great job. He's worked around Kevin. They've been able to trade good information off each of what they can do.
Sure.
And so we look forward to you. I welcome you aboard in this new capacity.
Thank you, Sheriff.
And now also, Kevin had mentioned just a little bit earlier in the first part of the broadcast is that we're going to also have our designated public information officer will be Captain Jonathan Cheek. Jonathan's not here today, but he works and he's in charge of the Criminal Investigative Division, and he will be pushing out a lot of information on case information, arrests, and stuff like that are going on. Plus, also he'll be helping me as a public information officer. So, but I just want to say this: I appreciate you. I appreciate every one of our employees. They do a great job. Everybody's a valued employee. We're going to miss Kevin, and we're looking forward to working with you for a long time. And we wish you nothing but the best. And of course, Kevin, you're out there in the audience. I wish you nothing but the best for you and your family.
We're going to keep his number very handy.
Oh yeah.
He's providing a lot of help to me right now, Sheriff. And that's a big
He's going
deal.
to be a resource. We know that
For sure.
But well, this is our the Rockingham County Sheriff's Office podcast for February. And again, like I said, we hope you stay tuned in. We'll be coming to you again in March. I think the second Thursday of every month, information goes out. Rockingham Update is our news producer and source, and they do a great job. Roy, we appreciate you, and we look for, again, continued working together on a project helping us to get our information out to the public. So don't forget, we have some job opportunities. The Rockingham County Sheriff's Office is hiring, and we need you to come out and see us here, and you might be interested in a good job and a great career for the future. Thank you, and I appreciate everybody watching our show today.